The incident of a woman who used to commit adultery, who is called Tawaif in the Urdu language. When that Tawaif went to perform Hajj in Kaaba, what kind of punishment of Allah descended upon her that made the viewers goosebumps? To know the full story of this incident, watch the video till the end. Viewers, we hear this incident from the mouth of a doctor in this area. There used to live a Tawaif in a certain area who was a very guilty man. Every youth of this area used to sell his house to spend the night with her. That Tawaif was not an ordinary Tawaif and used to torture girls a lot. She used to kidnap them and bring them to her den and force them to do this work. Then, by the grace of Allah, that Tawaif once fell ill. When her health deteriorated, her 15-year-old son, who considered her as his mother, immediately took her to the doctor. The boy was talking to the doctor hesitantly. He was afraid that if the doctor came to know that she was a prostitute, then the doctor would not treat her. But the doctor was very noble and had understood everything. He started telling him that I am a doctor, and it is the duty of the doctor to treat his patients equally. We doctors treat all patients. We cannot give a certificate of being guilty or good to anyone. If she is a prostitute, it does not matter to me. I will try my best to treat her. The doctor said that I was explaining all these things to this 15-year-old boy standing in front of me. When he was blabbering, he started saying that Dr. Sahab, this woman is like my mother. I love her very much. If something happens to her, I will be helpless in the whole world. I put my hand on the boy's shoulder and while consoling him said, "You don't worry. Go. Nothing will happen to the patient. She will be fine. You go home comfortably." That boy thanked me and went home. This morning, a 25-year-old woman was brought to the hospital. I got some information that she was also a prostitute and had fainted this morning. When she regained consciousness, she started vomiting blood. This boy, whose name was Umar, had brought this prostitute with him again. He told me that we belong to this street. This woman is a prostitute. Umar was afraid that when I came to know that the woman was a prostitute, I would not treat her. I encouraged her and assured her that I would try very hard. I will try my best to save her life as far as I can. I got all her tests done, but it came to light that she has cancer, and she is in the last stage of the disease. It was impossible to save her life. I was sorry, but at the moment there was nothing in my hands. I was checking other patients when a nurse came to me and said, "Dr. Sahab, this woman's health has deteriorated a lot. Please come once." See, I quickly got up and went to her ward. She was in a lot of pain and was vomiting blood repeatedly. I asked the nurse to get me an injection. She brought the injection. I gave it to the woman. Her eyes started closing. I had nothing else in my hands. I wanted to give as little pain to my patient as possible. So I gave her a relaxing injection. Now she was asleep. The nurse had left. I was also about to leave. I stopped after looking at her face. There was a special kind of attraction in her face. I stood there and started looking at her face. Her eyes were closed, but the structure of her face made me feel that her eyes must have been very big. Her eyes were very beautiful. Her face looked like the moon. She was a beautiful woman. I thought that many people would appreciate her, but she did not know that this disease was destroying her from inside, and she was standing on the threshold of death. It had happened very rarely in my personal life that a face or a person could impress me. I wanted her to settle in my mind in such a way that I kept thinking about her even after going home, but there was no doubt that her personality was very attractive to the heart. I kept thinking about her the whole night. When I reached the hospital in the morning, the first thing I wanted to do was to see her report and guess whether she would be able to live for a few days or not. I did not want to disturb her rest. I know that the life of a courtesan is very difficult. I wanted her to spend the last moments of her life comfortably. When I reached her ward, she was awake. There was a very sweet smile on her face. I said that you are looking very fresh today. Hearing me, she laughed and said that I know how to fight difficult situations, doctor. I smiled, and she also started saying something. Doctor, don't think of me as an ordinary woman. There is a big difference between a delicate woman brought up at home and a woman living in a brothel. There is a big difference between a rich woman and women like us, who spend their lives in brothels. I shook my head, and then she said, "Please tell me about my illness. I will not lose courage at all. I will not sit down crying and wailing. I have some unfinished work left. I want to complete all of that before I die. I don't want to die an ignorant death. I want to die after finishing my work." There was truth in everything she said. Her eyes were giving testimony to this. I said, "You have cancer, and you are in the last stage of cancer." Hearing this, a smile spread on her lips, which means she was true to her promise. She said, "How many days do I have left?" I said, "Life and death are in the hands of Allah. At times it happens that a patient leaves death and comes back. Sometimes a healthy person dies while sitting, and your report is saying the same thing, that there are very few days left, but at present only Allah knows everything." She smiled and said, "Dr. Sahab, thank you very much. You did not hide anything from me. I want to go on Hajj before I die. You told me everything truthfully, so I will go on Hajj and pray for you too." I smiled and came back to my room. I was surprised at her courage. Her life used to be stuck, but she is so engrossed in the worries of the world that she does not let her soul fly from her body. In such a situation, she suffers a lot. She had accepted her death very quickly. She was undergoing treatment. After a few days, a man came to meet her. Coincidentally, I was also checking her at the same time. His wife looked at me and said, "Doctor, now courage has developed in my body. Now I'm ready to go. Now I do not get tired, and I can also walk for a very long time. I can also take a walk for 10 to 15 minutes. I'm getting better." There was a very innocent smile on her face. Once I was stunned to see her face. It was a very sweet smile. I said that you would be treated for a few more days, and then you could go for Hajj. The man standing near me started laughing. Her smile, I was cunning. He said that after eating 100 rats, the cat went to the Hajj. Doctor, she is a prostitute. What has she not done in her life? What bad things has she not done? She is a very bad woman. She thinks that by doing Hajj, she will get her sins forgiven, and after death, she will go straight to heaven. You should tell her that a person who commits sins all her life does not become a resident of heaven by going on Hajj. I found this man's words very strange. I asked, "Who are you?" He said that I work in the brothel where this prostitute belongs. You will not be able to understand my work, so do not ask me too many questions. I said that your work, I cannot understand this. Can you understand the work of Allah? Who are you and I to divide heaven and paradise? Leave the decision of all this to God. He shrugged his shoulders and said, "Okay, I will not say anything, but remember my words. If prostitutes start going to heaven, then what will happen to this woman?" The woman who worshipped Allah all her life, believed in all the deeds of Allah, and spent her whole life according to this, kept herself veiled, protected herself, kept herself away from the eyes of strangers, and never complained to God. Then he said, "Doctor, spend as much money as you can. We want her well. She is the owner of our brothel. Nothing should happen to her. If she dies, we will suffer a great loss." Saying this, the man went away from there, while I stood there. I wanted to know what was inside this woman. I was a very busy doctor. My whole day was spent moving from one ward to another. There was a strange attraction in this courtesan. I wanted to know about her, so despite checking up, I stood there. After this man left, she started crying bitterly. I got scared, and I asked what happened. "Why are you crying?" She said, "Will I not go to heaven? Will I not be forgiven?" I said, "Why are you saying all this?" She said, "If he thinks that I am a sinner and do not deserve forgiveness, then he is right." I smiled and said, "This is not something to cry about. No person can decide heaven or hell. Do not lose heart." After listening to me, she became quiet and said, "These people consider me a great sinner, and that is why they do not want me to go for Hajj. You should make arrangements for me to go. Just understand that the death of a person is a sin." "You are fulfilling my last wish?" I nodded yes. I said, "Whatever I can do for you, I will do it." Saying this, I came to my office. I looked at the ticket lying in the drawer. I also had to go for Hajj after a few days, so I had to fulfill this woman's request. If I did not fulfill her request, I was afraid that if I refused her request, then Allah might not accept my Hajj. I wanted to take this woman for Hajj. I saw her report, and her condition was getting worse day by day. She had very few days left. Whatever I had to do it quickly. To take care of this prostitute, I had decided to take her 15-year-old son along with him, who was calling her his mother. It took me 10 days to do all this work, but that woman had become very weak now. The black circles around her eyes had become lighter. She was not even able to walk properly. I said that your condition is worsening day by day. How will I take you for Hajj? She said that if I don't go for Hajj this year, I will keep wandering and will remain bedridden. I will never die. I felt that the way she was suffering for Hajj, even death would back off. I was very scared of her words. I had thought in my heart that she is such a good woman. Those who say that she is not right will surely be bad themselves. She was also doing all this. There was so much longing in her heart to go to Allah's door. I had called the doctor's team to my office. I had told them that this is this woman's wish. We should fulfill it. Instead of treating her in the hospital, we should take her for Hajj and fulfill her last wish. The doctor accepted my decision. I completed the necessary work. When I told this news to this courtesan, she started crying profusely and said that Allah had accepted my presence. Allah has accepted my presence and called me to his door. I looked at her and thought that she was a very accomplished woman. Those who say wrong things about her will themselves be wrong. After a few days, it was time for us to leave. I took her along with me and the boy as well. We set out for the journey. This journey was very religious. That woman, that boy, they were reciting the rosary. Allah's name was on their tongue. That woman started saying that she had committed many sins. Maybe God will forgive her. I nodded in the affirmative. The character of this courtesan seemed very clear to me. This is also a sign of forgiveness that a person starts realizing their sins. By the grace of Allah, our journey was completed and we reached Saudi Arabia. As soon as we entered the Haram Sharif, when my first sight fell on the Kaaba, I started trembling while the condition of this courtesan woman started becoming strange. She was nervous. She held my hand and said, "Take me back to my health. My health is getting worse. Take me to the hotel." I was not expecting this at all. I said, "What happened? Are you okay?" She said, "Yes, my health is fine, but I'm scared. Take me from here, otherwise I will stop breathing." I took care of my patient and leaving her in the hotel room, I came out myself. My marriage was next month. I went there and prayed a lot for my happy life. There was such beauty there that I did not feel like returning, but I was helpless. It was nighttime. I came back to the hotel. When morning came, I thought I should take her for a pilgrimage. Then that woman came to me and said, "Take me along with you." I said, "Yes, come. I will take you for a pilgrimage." As soon as we were about to reach Kaaba, she closed her eyes and said to Umar, "Hold my hand and take me to Kaaba. I will take her." I wanted to see her attitude. I wanted to see how a person expresses his happiness when his biggest wish of life is fulfilled. The boy who had come with her caught the hand of this courtesan and made her stand right in front of the Kaaba and said, "Now you open your eyes." As soon as she opened her eyes with joy and saw the Kaaba, the color of her face changed. She started screaming and was running backwards. She wanted to run away from here. She was running like a mad person. She was not even worried about her dupatta. Her dupatta had fallen. Everyone was paying attention to her. People were looking at her. Now she was about to become a spectacle in front of everyone, when I came forward and caught her hand and asked her to leave. But if she was in her senses, she would have listened to me. She shook off my hand and kept screaming, You are fulfilling my last wish." She held my hand and said, "Take me back to my health. My health is getting worse. Take me to the hotel." I was not expecting this at all. I said, "What happened? Are you okay?" She said, "Yes, my health is fine, but I'm scared. Take me from here. Otherwise I will stop breathing." I took care of my patient, and leaving her in the hotel room, I came out myself. My marriage was next month. I went there and prayed a lot for my happy life. There was such beauty there that I did not feel like returning, but I was helpless. It was nighttime. I came back to the hotel when morning came. I thought I should take her for a pilgrimage. Then that woman came to me and said, "Take me along with you." I said, "Yes. Come, I will take you for a pilgrimage," as soon as we were about to reach Kaaba. She closed her eyes and said to Umar, "Hold my hand and take me to Kaaba. I will take her." I wanted to see her attitude. I wanted to see how a person expresses his happiness when his biggest wish of life is fulfilled. The boy who had come with her caught the hand of this courtesan and made her stand right in front of the Kaaba and said that now you open your eyes. As soon as she opened her eyes with joy and saw the Kaaba, the color of her face changed. She started screaming and was running backwards. She wanted to run away from here. She was running like a mad person. She was not even worried about her dupatta. Her dupatta had fallen. Everyone was paying attention to her. People were looking at her. Now she was about to become a spectacle in front of everyone, when I came forward and caught her hand and asked her to leave, but if she was in her senses, she would have listened to me. She shook off my hand and kept screaming. That queen was mad in love. I started to know about Allah. I fell in love with him. I decided to leave the evil. But then I thought that if I left all this, then how would I spend my life today? I concluded that in my old age, I will leave all this and walk on the path of goodness and do good deeds with people and leave the sins. I have heard that whenever you ask forgiveness from Allah Ta'ala, He forgives you. So I thought that at the time of my death, I will do Hajj and get all my sins forgiven. Dr. Sahab, you are understanding my planning, right? I wanted to deceive Allah from my side, whereas the reality is that I have deceived myself. I have humiliated myself. I could not even reach the age of old age. The disease had already taken me in its arms. When I came to know that the time of my death is near, then I thought, why not do Hajj and ask for forgiveness for my sins? The man who came to meet me in the hospital, he had brought me here. He had rightly told you that I am a very sinful woman. He knows every moment of my life very well. He was telling the truth. I am very sinful. I consoled her and said, okay, everything will be fine, but you tell me that if you have come here for Hajj, then why do you start crying as soon as you enter the Haram Sharif? Why do you make a fuss and run away from there? That courtesan started saying that I had come here with the hope that all my sins would be forgiven. I will ask forgiveness from Allah and become entitled to heaven. But do you know, doctor, what happened to me when everyone was standing in front of the Kaaba and crying, trying to lighten their hearts, expressing their love? I could not see anything there. I asked the woman standing in front of me, where is the Kaaba? She said that you are right in front of you. I could see everything. I could only see the Kaaba. Do you know what it means? What happened? I had set out to perform Hajj in search of my heaven and hell. Allah is very angry with me. He is upset with me. Allah has called me to His door but has deprived me of it. I have come here but Allah does not accept my Hajj, my prayers. I am seeing only Malika everywhere. She was smiling. Only her voice was heard. She was saying that there is a lot of difference between choosing a life of sin and those who compel you to sin. I have found my love. You tell me, what did you find? She was crying in agony. She put her hand on the doctor's hand and said, look, doctor, my hand is empty. I have not found anything. Her condition was getting worse. Quickly, an ambulance was called. She was taken to the hospital. It was found that she had died. Everyone was very upset with her condition. The doctor was also very scared of her condition. He said that he did not know what would happen to her after she died. He was thinking this. He asked the residents of the place to offer her a funeral. He went to their office to get permission, but he was also turned down. He was surprised as to what was happening. He was sent back to his home and was handed over to his brothel. The doctor returned to his home. 5 years have passed since then. The doctor said that even today when this incident passes through my mind, my soul trembles. Allah Pak did not accept her presence even after calling her to his door. She was desperate to perform Hajj. She even went to Haram Sharif, but she could not see Kaaba Sharif, meaning that Allah Pak had taken away her ability to even prostrate. The series of punishments on her had started in this world itself. Who knows what will happen to her in the grave and the end? Whenever I pray for her forgiveness. May Allah give peace to her soul. And this is my appeal to all of you. You people should also definitely pray for her. Pray don't know what will happen to him. He had the fear of Allah inside him while dying. Will his soul be released, or will he get the harshest punishment? All this is the secret of Allah, and he knows better. In the end, I pray to Allah that, O Allah, forgive all our kabir and sagira sins. O my Allah, grant us the ability to do good deeds and walk on the right path. O my Allah, for the sake of your beloved, grant us the opportunity to visit the Kaaba. Amen. O Rabbul Alameen Nazreen. Do write Amen in the comment box as well. Like the video. Do share this video with your friends as well. If you have not yet subscribed to our channel, then do subscribe to our channel KT Islamic Voice, and keep the bell notification selected on all so that you keep getting to see such faith-filled videos. We will see you on some other good topic.